Hey everyone, welcome to a new video, welcome to my channel. My name is Micah. Today I am shopping my stash for the month of December. I'm going to update you, number one, on the products that I was using in November, what I liked, what I didn't like as much, and maybe if anything has been used up in the meantime, because I did use up a product again. And yeah, just updating you on that. I'm going to talk to you about the lipsticks that I've been using this month. You can see them over here, sneak peek, and also the eyeshadow that I was using this month. And that is a lot, so stay tuned for that. I will show you the products that I'm going to change out in order to sort of update what is currently in here. So let's just start with this, because this is the part that usually changes the most. For foundation, I mainly used this Max Factor Radiant Lift foundation, and this was really nice. It's just nothing special. This is the kind of foundation that wears okay. It's nice and hydrating. It's got like a thicker texture. It's got a medium coverage. It has everything that I like about a foundation, but it just didn't wow me. I've tried other foundations at the drugstore that I just like better, which is why I'm not going to be using this anymore next month. And I actually think that if I do a declutter, but it will be a while until I get round to it, I will probably get rid of this because I have other things in my collection that I like better. Also in here for my base were these two Benefit Hello Happy foundations, and I did a video with these and I tested them side by side to see which one wore best. This little guy here was my favorite, spoiler alert, so check out that video if you want to see why. This one I just think doesn't really go very well with my skin, so this is also on the chopping block now. This one I'm currently trying to use up. It's really little. It only has 6 mils of product. So this is going to stay in here because I want to try and use it up before the end of the month. Because in case you didn't know, I'm currently keeping track of all of the makeup products I'm using up this year, and I want to do like one giant video at the start of 2020 to show you exactly all the makeup that I used up in the past year. So that's what I'm currently still working on, so I'm sure I can use this up in like the next month. I think it has like 1 or 2 more uses left. The other base product in here that I've been using is the Kokie Be Bright Concealer, and this I really, really like. It's a bit lightweight, perhaps, so I do feel I need quite a bit to get it to work, especially if I use a sponge to blend it in. But I really liked it. It's a really good bog standard concealer. Again, nothing special, but I like this enough that I'm going to try and use it up this month. You can see a bit of gap in the product right here by my nail. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I don't think there's a whole lot of product in here yet anymore. And actually, when I keep it in the drawer like this, the product kind of settles on the sides and I have already trouble getting product out. So it's why I sort of keep it upright on my desk for now, so I can use it up and get as much product out of it as possible. And then I need to reach over here. Because of that Kokie concealer being quite lightweight, I don't feel it has the best coverage on my under eye area. And now that it's winter time, I've gone paler. I have some early starts, I've had some stressful weeks with lots of grading and just things not working out for me. So I've been using this quite a bit again, and this is my Bobbi Brown corrector. This is getting quite old, so again with this I'm just trying to use it up. As you can see, there's a really big dent in the middle and I really need to scrape product from the sides. I don't think I'll manage it this month, but I think if I stick to it this winter, it will definitely be, it's just something that I can use up. I know I will. So that was base. So I, of course, set my base with a powder, and that's the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Pressed powder at the moment. And I'm not sure if you can see that because it's a white powder. So I'm not sure if this shows up on camera and if it would like to stay put. But over here, there's a huge, huge dent in this powder already. I know this is one that you can use up quite quickly. Again, not something I think I'll be using up before the end of this month, but it will definitely have pan by that time, I'm sure. So that is something that usually with powders, I use them up before I move on to something else. So that's going to stay in here as well. For bronzer, I was using this Makeup Revolution Baked Bronzer Reloaded. And this is what that looks like. And this is what that looks like. It's a really nice glowy bronzer. And this is in their lightest shade, and it's one that I really, really enjoyed. and it's just a really, really good one. It's a domed baked product, so this is one of those things that is going to take you ages to use up. I'm not sure how much product you get in here. It's 15 grams of product. That's quite a lot. It is a little bit on the light side at the moment, I feel, but it does give a very nice diffused bit of color to your face, but you don't look overly bronzed. This is one I'm going to be replacing with something else. Highlighters then, I use the Milani, what's this called again? Hypnotic Lights highlighter in a luster light. This is a peachy toned highlighter that I really enjoyed. I was still sort of using this at the start of the month to really prepare for my review, but towards the middle of the month, I moved more into Benefit's Kokie, and I really have been using it a lot now. And I have to say, I like this so much that it's going to stay in for another round. As you can see, it has quite a bit of use now. It is a very densely packed highlighter, but the glow on this is great. So something you need to know about this is that it does have visible glitter particles in some lighting while you wear it. So that has to be your cup of tea, but I'm currently really into this. The shade of this is really pretty on my skin, I find. And yeah, it's just a really, really nice one. So that's going to stay another round. For blush, I was using this Wine Not blush by Catrice at the start of the month, together with the Milani highlighter, and I felt they were a very good pair. The color of this blush really brought out the peachiness in that highlight, so they make a great pairing. And these blush boxes by Catrice, these mosaic ones that they did new for, I think, this winter, are really, really stunning. So this is one I definitely want to keep around, but I want to use something else next month. The same goes for the Jouer one. I really, really enjoyed this. A lot of people wanted to know my thoughts about it. I bought this as a travel size mini from Sephora when I was in the US, and I really like this shade. I was afraid that this might be too dark for me, but I tend to blend these two together, and then I have a great glowy cheek. It is sort of like a more muted version of NARS Orgasm though, so if that's not your sort of shade, I do feel this as less shimmer, less gold, and it's a lot more wearable, but this is such a great, just natural, healthy looking color, and the formula of this is amazing. So I'm very happy that I picked this up. The blush that is going to stay in here is the Hourglass blush in Mood Exposure. This is one of my favorite blushes for the fall time, and now that I've used it again this month, I remember how much I love this product. So that's why this is gonna stay. Shall we already talk about what I'm going to move in then? Because everything else is going to be like lips and other things. So those things are going to stay. Because I want to use up some other products perhaps, I have this nearly empty Maybelline Fit Me foundation that I just think is also getting a little bit old. So if it's still good to go, I want to use it again and try and see if I can use it up. I think I have about this much left. So with a sponge, if I use this the entire month after I use that up, I'm pretty sure that I can use it up before the end of December. Apart from Kokie, I do want to use another highlighter, and this is also quite new to me. This is Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter in Iridescence. And this is one of those pinky purpley, like pinky purpley, sort of shifty, kind of cool toned highlighter shades, which, you know, on me, I am very fair, especially around this time of the year. I just get fairer and fairer as winter progresses. So this is going to look lovely on my skin for the winter time if I want something more icy than the Kokie one, because that's a bit more warm toned, a bit more champagne. For bronzer, I just wanted to go back to a favorite. This is Becca's Sunlit Bronzer, and I have mine in Bali Sands. I always need to check the name of it. I used this quite a bit last year, or earlier this year, I feel. And I did review this already as far as I know, but I just remember really loving it. And this has a bit more color than the Makeup Revolution one, and it's just one I want to get more use out of, so that's why I'm pulling that in. And then for blush, I'm going to be pulling in an OG NARS blush. This packaging always feels horrible after a few uses, but this is Sex Appeal, and this is a very light peachy shade that doesn't do anything for you if you have anything darker than like a light skin tone. But on my skin, this can look very fresh, especially if I get pretty pale. So maybe not for right now, but definitely towards the end of the month, this is going to work for me. I wanted to pull in this Urban Decay blush. I discovered these Afterglow blushes a little bit late. They have by now been discontinued, but the shade Rapture is one of the last ones that I picked up. And this is like a nice deep plummy shade, and I love these shades as well for the fall time. So the Hourglass one is a bit more neutral than this. If I want something that has a bit more color, I can use this. So there's something else I need to update you on. This all-nighter setting spray, as you can hear, is almost gone. I think, again, 1 or 2 uses left, and then it's going to say bye-bye, and I'm going to add it to my empties bin. I will not be changing out my primer. I am really enjoying this Becca, what's it called again? First Light Priming Filter. And it is purple, but it doesn't look like that on your face. But it's very nice and hydrating, and I feel it still makes my makeup last. Which, I don't know how it does that, but it just does. Now let's talk about something that's always in here that I actually used up, and that's a lip balm. I used up my Burt's Bees lip balm, so replace it with this. This is a mini that I think I picked up in Sephora as like a point perk or something like that. And this is the Milk Kush lip balm. This is a mini and it's super soft and it's actually starting to break already. So I'm trying to be really careful with this so I can get as much use out of it as possible. 2 mascaras are still okay, I think, for a few more weeks, but I may have to change them out throughout the month. The brow pencil is very nearly going as well. And that brings me to lips. As you can see, I only used 3 different lipsticks this entire month. And that has a reason, and let me just get straight to it. I have committed myself to using this lipstick up before the end of the year. So stay tuned for that empty products video to see if I make it. Let me show you how much I have left. I have never worn down a lipstick this much, you guys, like never. And it's down to the plastic. So I think I can do it, but it does mean that I just want to commit. And whenever I do an eye look, I've been wearing this most, especially towards the end of the month. So I was wearing that especially towards the end of the month. At the start of the month, I was really loving playing around with these 2 new custom Bite lipsticks. They have my name. I picked up 2 shades from the Bite Beauty Lip Lab. One of the shades I made is a matte red, and I really am smitten with this shade. It has great lasting power, looks nice all day, but still feels really comfortable on the lips. And this is a shade that I really have never ever even used in a lipstick. It's crazy. And then for the nude, and this one looks quite brown in the tube, and when I first wore it, I also felt it was a bit dark, but it's almost as if there's like an outer layer with this one that I sort of had to wear down. And then as I have been using it a bit more, I feel the actual color that I remember putting on when I was at the Lip Lab is now coming through, and this is just a perfect nude lipstick, like my perfect nude. I am going to compare it to something though, because I did pick up some of the Lisa Eldridge velvets when they restocked, and I picked up one of her new nude shades, and I think this may actually be very similar to Velvet Muse. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it yet, but when I read her description on the website, I'm like, that sounds exactly like the Bite Beauty lipstick that I made myself. So if you're looking for something like this, wait for a restock of Velvet Muse, because I believe it is sold out. And then we have these guys here. So I, as you can see, have been using an excessive amount of eyeshadow, and that's because I cannot currently use new product to take pictures of before I head out to work. Usually when I do that, I can do like 3-4 looks in a week. And then if I just keep going the entire week and I do my makeup every single day, I can try out like 2 new palettes. If I don't do my makeup every single day, like 1 a week. And then there's just not that much here, but I really wanted to revisit some things that I love for the fall time. And there's just a couple of random bits in here. Of course, I had a couple of new things that I still wanted to try. And one of them was this Pat McGrath Blitz Astral Quad, which is limited edition for Christmas this year. And this is what this looks like. This is Nocturnal Nirvana, and these shades are like, the formula of this was a bit like, oh, is this what we're working with? Because these feel like creams, but they go on like a powder. So at first I really struggled with how to use these. And I also think I need to use a glitter glue with these because I had really, really bad creasing, especially with this purple. So I definitely still have to play around with this a little bit much, but I love this so much that I'm actually eyeing up the pink version of this that came out, which is still in stock on the Sephora website in France. Just saying. It's a bit pricey though. It's 67 euros and I need to pay like 13 euros for shipping. So it would make like an $80 or 80 euro palette. And at the moment, I already shopped some Black Friday sales in this past week. So I do not currently have the money to spend 80 euros on a Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. So if it stays in stock after Christmas, then I might pick it up, but I'm not entirely sure. Also new in here were the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions palettes. I picked up Light and Rich while I was in New York, like the Pat McGrath palette, and I've been doing looks with this. I did one look with the Light. Let me move you guys here. And I did one look, oh, there it goes, of course. And I did one look with the Rich, and then I did one thing that I knew I wanted to do with these palettes, which is to combine them. This, perfect crease shade for me. Perfect, perfect crease shade. This is really nice to deepen it up. This is a liner. The shimmers in here work a bit better than these shimmers, but I like, for instance, this shade here on the lower lash line. It's like together, this is my perfect like new nude eyeshadow palette, but I have it in 2 little 9 pans. It was amazing. So since I was dropping things, let's address these guys first. So this was a one day, one look kind of thing. This is one of my favorite combos. I really love ColourPop Super Shock shadows for layering underneath some of my single shadows. This is in Dance Party, and this is a super fun, like rich purpley glittery shade that is just a really good base for Nabla's, is this called Selfish? Yeah, Selfish. And these two shades complement each other very well. Let me show you and open it up. Like, this has a bit more brightness to it, the ColourPop, but then this has like a duochrome shift that really brings a different quality to the Super Shock shadow. So this is such a nice pairing, and I really love the look that I always do with this, and yeah, just great stuff. This, and then with a very fluffy brush, apply to Nabla. Perfect combo. Speaking of perfect combos, something I played around with was this Dose Blushing Berries palette, and I did a look that featured like these 4 shades, and then I put these 2 Chanel cream shadows, one of them as a base and the other one on top. So I'll show you those in a minute. This is nice to deepen things up. I put this in the crease, this all over the lid. This is a bit too dark for me to go into the inner corner, but it was really good for blending out this shade and make it a bit more peachy. These are stunning eyeshadow palettes by Dose. I'm really happy I picked this up. When I first got it, it was a bit more red toned than I had hoped, so I didn't really know what to do with it at first, but as you will see in a minute, I've been wearing all the berry shades, so that's why this had to make an appearance this round. And I topped it off with New Moon by Chanel. This was a limited edition shade, and mine is quite dry. But what I find with these Chanel creams is that even if they start feeling a bit dry, for some reason they still work. So that's really weird. It's starting to pull off from the sides here. Let me give this a swatch for you so you can see. Ooh, and this layered over something, because this is quite sheer, so it doesn't have a lot of like base pigment to it, but it has a bit of that pinky quality. And I found this out last year, that this just pairs so nicely with the blushing berries that I just showed you, and this is a great topper. But I wanted to make sure I had a bit more depth and dimension in the look, so I also used my cream shadow by Chanel in Rouge Noir. since we're swatching these anyways. This is Chanel's most famous shade. This feels very nice and creamy still, but this is like a blackened, like berry red shade with a bit of shine. But this dabbed on the outer corner just deepens it up and creates a great smoky eye, and it was a great pairing with the Dose of Colors eyeshadow. So these are two stunning eyeshadows that I was very happy to be pulling out again. And that's pretty much the rest, like the theme for the rest of the eyeshadow palettes that are currently lying in front of you. I just wanted to revisit some of my favorite fall palettes, starting with the Modern Renaissance. So this is not my favorite palette like it is for everyone else. The only thing I do with this is a berry look with these three shades. So what I usually do with this palette is just pulling in these three shades, Vermeer in the inner corner, and I'm good to go. It makes for a great berry smoky eye. And yeah, I do really like this palette for that. So it's one of my go-to fall palettes precisely for that reason. Another great fall palette is the Gingerbread Spice palette by Too Faced. And I did a couple of looks with this actually while I was using it, but my favorite one is this one with spiced rum, and of course this like berry and hot toddy shade. Those are really, really stunning. So this is another one where I did some like more of those berry looks again, because that was my theme this month, and I didn't even know there was a theme because I just kind of came up with it as I went along. Huda Beauty Desert Dusk is one of my favorite fall palettes. It has warm tones with some purples, but actually when I was using this, I really fell in love with some of the shades on this side of the palette, which are a bit more cool toned, especially Musk and Cashmere. If you have this palette, go in with Musk in the crease, Cashmere all over the lid, and maybe a bit of Oud as liner or on a lower lash line, and you have a stunning, very basic, but great for work or school kind of eyeshadow look. I also really like Angelic in here. This purple I just love layering over almost anything. And I really like Turkish Delight and Blood Moon in here as well. So I think I did like 4 or 5 different looks with this the past month. All right, then I have an indie brand palette here too. I have the Misha Lu Witchcraft palette. I still have the sleeve because I don't throw away sleeves. And this is the inspiration for the theme that I want to pick for next month. Because I was like, now that I did a berry theme, maybe I should do a grungy theme for December. So I know I will be reaching for subculture at some time this month. Probably also my NYX Olive You palette, Perfect Filter thing, because that also has like murky greens and blues and those kind of things. And I pulled this out, and especially this shade, Magic. It's a bit crumbly, but you're not ready for this. Can you see that? It's like the perfect grungy, like reddish toned berry shimmer, and this palette just inspired me to try more grungy looks out. So that's what I will be doing in December. So stay tuned for my next Shop My Stash, where I will be showing you all the palettes that I'm using this month. 2 more to go. The Glitter Show palette by Essence. This was limited edition this fall, and I hadn't used it beyond what I did in the video that you saw me do with this, so I definitely wanted to give it a bit more of a try. This is some of the best eyeshadow quality that Essence has put out, ever. It doesn't have a lot of mattes. It just has like 4 mattes and everything else is shimmer, but it works really well. I really enjoyed this, and especially this shade here, I really like that. So maybe like these feel so nice and smooth and creamy, and like this shade is stunning. It's like a very murky silver. That's how I would describe it. And I pulled in my Venus XL palette. I have called this the Modern Renaissance on steroids in the past, and I still agree with that statement. This is all berries. So if I go for, if I just touch, the only thing that I touch in my Modern Renaissance are the berries, then you know I love this. I did a couple of looks with this. I dipped into different shades and really, really had fun playing with this. The only shade I didn't touch was Flora. I feel it's a bit too bright, but it is nice if you want to make this a bit more spring appropriate. But if you stick to like these shades here and then pull in Botticelli, Stunning fall look. Just stunning. That is it for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you would like to stay tuned for other videos that are coming your way. This month is going to, of course, be the last month of the year, so I definitely will do some like wrap-up style videos with some favorites of different categories that I tried throughout the year, sort of like a summary of my shop, my stash, perhaps. You could say, I think. So that's coming, and I'm going to be filming, hopefully, a red lipstick guide for you. Like I have lots of plans for December, so I would love for you to stick around and subscribe to my channel if you would like to. That's completely up to you, of course. I have no control over that. If you like this, let a girl know. And yeah, without further ado, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. See you in the next one. Bye!